Yeah.
And what John did in that moment was really open my eyes and be like, okay,
That's cool.
I'm ready to work.
I'm Andy Erwin, and this is the Storytellers. Coming up on this edition of the Storytellers is a face and a name you do not know, but you're going to. You're going to hear about this kid. He's got a bright future. Sammy Dell. Sammy is a kid that he grew up on doing traveling Broadway shows like School of Rock and so many others. Has an amazing singing voice and is one of the most pure talents that's ever walked through our doors and just lights up a room. People are going to fall in love with him. And he stars as Bart Millard's son, Sam Millard, and the new I Can Only Imagine 2. So would you welcome my guest, Sammy Dell.
Sammy Dell, welcome to the Storytellers.
Thank you.
Man, your enthusiasm is contagious. It's like if it was like a little energy shot that people could have in the morning, this world would be a much happier place. Like you're genuinely just like a happy kid. Like where does that come from?
My mom, actually, and my upbringing in general. But like I was kind of raised a happy kid.
Yeah.
And like always like kind of knowing what I wanted and racing for that.
Yeah.
And so like the fact that I'm here is kind of enough to keep me giddy every morning.
Yeah. It's well, your family's special. I want to get into a little bit about all that you guys have done to make your dreams with theater and now into film kind of come about, because it's a pretty amazing journey that you've been on. With that, with that journey, your mom is one of the sweetest people I know. She's sitting around the corner, so I think I'm required contractually to say this.
We're gonna talk about her.
She also, scares me just that much.
You and me both.
She's intense.
Yeah,
and like she doesn't mess around. Like so with that kind of mentality, the thing that I like that she's instilled in you, along with the joy and enthusiasm, is that work ethic. You seem to have that blue collar work ethic. So tell me a little bit about that value in your family.
Yeah, I mean, on my mom's side, we kind of grew up in that mentality, that blue collar work, and
New York.
Yep, upstate New York, in the woods, back 40, all that jazz. And so that's how I was raised my whole life.
Yeah,
and so it wasn't until I had kind of discovered acting and theater that I was seeing different mentalities kind of in the world.
Yeah.
And so I came in pretty strong with knowing how to work.
Yeah.
And not letting other people taint my point of view.
Yeah.
And different things like that. And I feel like there's not enough people who have that mentality in musical theater, or
especially people that are your age.
Yeah.
Because there's a lot of entitlement, especially working with kids that have come off Disney shows and different things like that. There's this idea, and I think it's not their fault. It's just by nature of having to give a child an adult job where they're working those kind of hours. You kind of ease your conscience sometimes by telling them that everything is wonderful, that they did everything perfect, and you give them gifts.
Yeah.
And so it kind of creates this like idea that the world kind of serves me type thing. And I don't sense that entitlement with you at all. And which is, don't lose that. And if you do lose that, I'm gonna like smack you around a little bit.
Hunt me down.
So when we were looking for who was going to play Sam Millard in I Can Only Imagine 2, we came across your audition and you captured us all. And we're going to get into a little bit of that process in a minute. But just talking about your history, what was the first movie that you can remember that just grabbed your attention? Either movie or, in your case, theater production. What was the first thing that grabbed your attention story-wise? And you're like, ooh, can you do that for a living? I want to do that.
For theater, I have two big ones, but there's a show called Newsies.
Oh yeah,
that
Disney.
was. I grew up in a town where theater wasn't. I was kind of the only guy who did theater.
Huh.
And so I went. The theater company that I was with, they did a trip every year to go see a musical, and it was Newsies that year, and that cast is pretty much all men.
Wow.
It's all men. And I was in the nosebleeds sitting next to my mom, and I was like, okay, I'm not alone in this, and I can do this. And that was a huge moment. And then this one's a little bit sappier, but I watched the movie Real Steel
Oh yeah.
So Sean Levy, and
that was,
it's literally
Hugh Jackman.
yeah. It is a movie about robot boxing.
Yeah.
Right. But I remember so vividly. There's a line in the end. I'm sorry if I'm spoiling it. It came out in 2011. So
I love that you're talking about a classic movie from 2011.
okay. It's classic for me.
I know, it's amazing. It's like way back in the day with the old timers playing.
There's a line at the end, the guy you're rooting for doesn't win the last fight. And they talk about like the people's champion. And I think that's huge. And like I had my family rooting for me the whole time. And I knew that like, even when I fell down, they were always behind me no matter what. And that's so cool. That line just, I must have been 8 years old when I first watched it.
That's cool.
But I remember bawling.
That's cool.
I remember it so well.
That's so cool. I love it. Real Steel and Newsies. So you talked about being the only guy in the town that you grew up in doing theater. Like what first got you interested in theater? What was it, just like a local community theater thing that you just auditioned for, or what was it?
Yeah, so my whole life I'd been called the singing and dancing Sam.
Okay.
If you call me to this day, my voicemail is a younger version of me saying, "You've tried to reach the singing and dancing Sam. Please leave a message." And maybe one day I'll change that. But
no, don't.
Everyone says that.
When you get to be 45, that might be creepy. But right now, keep
Who's
it.
this kid doing his voicemail?
Keep it.
But yeah, so I'd grown up singing and dancing. And eventually somehow my mom found this small theater group, Endicott Performing Arts Center, that was in my hometown. And the first time we had heard about it, I wasn't old enough. I was 5 and you had to be 6.
Mm-hmm.
And so I was like waiting in anticipation. And 6 years old, first show comes around. It's a show called Honk, which is the story of the ugly duckling.
Yeah.
And I played his older brother named Billy, who was kind of like the bully, right?
Billy the bully.
Yeah.
Okay.
But he's also a duck.
Almost spit out my coffee. That was great. Billy the bully duck. Got it.
And I remember the first day I went in and we did this like it was like a dance thing that we were learning for the show. And I was messing up in a lot of ways, and maybe I kicked the person who was next to me and they got mad at me. And long story short, I came out of the theater and I went to go see my mom in the car, and I was crying and I was like, I never want to go back. And my mom was the one who was like, I think you should go one more day. And if you hate it the next day, you're done. You never have to go back.
Wow.
And I went back and I loved it and I never stopped.
That's amazing.
I literally did it for the rest of my life.
That's
far,
amazing that she pushed
every
you back
day.
to it.
Yeah, one day.
You're not going to quit.
I could have gone in and been like, no, I was right. It's not it. But she knew. Something in her told her.
Dude, so I was in one where I realized I was supposed to be behind the camera. I was in one play production for a church play when I was a kid, and it was a musical, and I sang a solo. I was probably like 3rd grade, and and I was supposed to. It was a production of church production of The Good Samaritan, and so I was playing The Good Samaritan, and so it's supposed to go to sing the song as I'm bandaging this guy up, and so I got in there, and when I got up on stage, I tripped, and my staff fell out of my hand and hit the kid in the head and almost knocked him out. And then I realized he was hurt. So then I'm supposed to start singing the song, and I forget the words, but I'm trying to remember the words, but I'm supposed to be bandaging up his head while I did it. And it turns out I'm bandaging up like he's a mummy and he can't breathe. And he should have pulled the bandages off. And then I got stage fright and ran off stage, and I never went back. So my mom didn't push me back to it because she was like, you got no talent, kid. So yeah, you should have run away. So you kind of go from doing like smaller theater things to then you're like traveling with like School of Rock and stuff like that.
Yeah, I jumped straight in. It was a really unprofessional professional audition process. Yeah. We got word of this on open call, just a bunch of kids going to get in front of these casting directors. And I had never done an audition of any stature before, let alone had my own material. So I remember we were standing in what we called the quiet room, is where we did our school. Because I was homeschooled my whole life.
Yeah, me too. Gen 1.
There you go.
Yeah.
Yep, literally kindergarten.
You got a much better education than I did. I was the guinea pig. So I got a quality fourth grade education, but by the time it got to you, they knew what they were doing. So yeah,
That's fair. There's a lot more resources.
Yep.
But or was it, yeah.
The
So I
audition
remember,
process.
yeah. I was standing in where we would do our school, and my mom was like, "Sing a song right now. Sing your favorite song." And I sang "Let's Go Fly a Kite" from Mary Poppins.
Wow.
And she was like, "That's the key. That's the song. Sweet. We're driving to New York."
Wow.
Drove 3.5 hours to New York. I sang. I played the drums.
Wow.
And that was it. Like, I literally had my voice, my musical ability, and within 3 months of a couple more auditions, I would be on the road the next year.
Wow. What was it like being on the road like that? Was that, I mean, for a kid, like it's probably exciting. It's also probably really, really intense, right?
Yeah, it was. I feel like now it would be more intense because I'm really thinking. I'm thinking more than I was when I was 11 and 12. And there's moments of it that are foggy, but like, I mean, you're traveling on the road. There were 16 kids and their parents and 6 adults. And I've seen all of them. I know all of them. It's like we've grown up together in this industry, and some have kind of moved in where they want to be. Some are strictly music focused. Some are acting focused. Some are picking up directing and different things like that. It's really cool to start with something like that can build you into something new. It's not limiting at all.
So you get done with that, and then you decide you really want to pursue this more.
Yeah.
And so your family faces a big decision to move you to New York to it was like a prestigious theater school or art school.
Yeah. So we moved there right after School of Rock for about a year. My mom and my sister had came with me, obviously, because I was 13 at the time. And kind of the same old, just kind of separated from our house upstate and my dad.
Yeah.
Because my dad works upstate and works a lot.
Yeah.
So
So then
COVID hit, moved back upstate, and then right after COVID, I was at a theater summer camp, and I was getting all these auditions for this project called Trevor. And after that, while I was doing that show in the city, New York, I got scouted for the high school that I would go to. And it was crazy because it's a 4-year, you're looking at 4 more years that you're kind of separating away from, you're breaking up our family kind of.
Right.
And that sounds very extreme, but that's what it was.
Right.
And so we thought about it a lot, and my mom has always said that her job as a parent is to put me in the best position to make the goals that I want and the things that align with God's plan. And so she made the decision. I obviously wanted to go, but she and my dad made the decision to move me, and we lived 4 years there. First 2 without my sister, last 2 with, and it really did change my life. Not only do I never want to not live in New York City, which is pretty pivotal. I learned so much about just like being a person and not just. I mean, imagine being homeschooled your whole life and then going into an inner city public high school in New York City.
Right.
It's a shocker.
Yeah.
And you see so many different people and you learn so much, and it's astonishing. Yeah.
You talked about, what God wanted for your family. What role has faith played in your family?
My mom, her faith walk is huge. Like, she is actually insightful and wise in so many different ways. And so I grew up with that. And I grew up going to church every Sunday.
Sure.
And then after School of Rock, we moved away from church, but we didn't move away from faith.
Right.
Which is plays a huge part in my life and my family's life. That even without church, we stay as connected as we can and follow in the footsteps that we think we're on as best we can.
Yeah.
I'll never not say that our faith can be messy sometimes, and especially being in New York, it can be hard
For sure.
But I feel like that's that's the reason why we're there. I mean, like we're there for a reason, and so I'm gonna live my life the way I feel like I need to live it, judging from what I've been told.
That's cool. I love it. With when the first movie came out, it would have come out like right around the time you were finishing up School of Rock.
That was actually 2018, right?
Yeah.
That was the year I went on School of Rock.
Okay, so when you're on School of Rock, so that was. Were you aware of the movie at all at any point? Like, did you stumble across it before the audition?
I watched. I'm
did you
almost
catch up
positive.
a lot before?
I'm pretty sure it
live
was
pretty
after.
great. Once
Yeah.
This is my favorite movie, guys. That's why I want to do this role.
I love this movie.
That first movie was so good.
Yeah. No, I do remember hearing about it after School of Rock, and then when it came back up more recently, I was like, oh, wait a second, and I was able to revisit it again, and it's one of those things. Like, again, I'm 13 years old,
sure,
and I'm coming back 18 years old, and even just in those couple of years, I can understand the film and see it so much more. Find how I resonate with that film. So that was definitely very cool.
That's cool.
Experience.
So with when you heard about the audition for the sequel, where did that come up in your world, and then what got you involved in the audition process? Because we did a big open casting call, and we looked at a ton of people. Some of them had big resumes and names, and some of them were just getting started. But we again, it was really important that we found somebody that could do their own singing. Or be able to fake it really well. Somebody play guitar, and somebody that just had this personality that you really, really bought into. And so we had several contenders, but then yours came up, and it was like Tom Holland and Zac Efron had a baby. It was like amazing, and we were just like, this kid's amazing. So when did it first come up in your world, and what made you decided that you wanted to audition for it?
Yeah, senior year I'm pretty sure it was the beginning of my senior year when I saw the audition come in, and I kind of went about it as any other audition.
Right.
You get the script, you read the script, and in that split moment, you're like, wow, this is really good, and I'm very passionate about it.
Right.
Or you're like, okay, I'm going to submit this audition. It's that.
So you're just on this one, you're like, okay, I'll just submit this.
Whoa, no. I read the script, and there was a vivid moment where I got to all the scenes in Red Rocks, and I was like, oh, yo, I need to do this film.
Yeah.
It aligned so much with me and my story and Sam's story and the connection with fathers in that whole scenario really resonated with me. And from that moment on, I was like, okay, I got to kick it into high gear. Yeah. And I think I did. I guess you're telling me I'm sitting here.
You did something right, kid. We saw your audition. I was like, okay, I like this kid. And everybody, when you have people audition, you're just like, hey, do you know Kung Fu? Like, absolutely, I know Kung Fu. You're like, show me some of your moves, and it's like, right. But like, so everybody's like, oh yeah, sing, and oh yeah, play guitar, and then they're like, oh, and there was one kid during his callback and this kid's a known commodity, but he had he submitted, and we were like, hey, can you play guitar? He's like, yeah. And it's like, what's your favorite song to play? And he's like, oh, and it caught him off guard, and he just started like just strumming the guitar, and it was really he could tell he couldn't play guitar, and sang this song that was just this repetitive phrase over and over again. It's like, oh, this is not like he's like, this is my own music. Like, no, he just made it up on the spot. But you obviously had the goods there, and then we did some test screenings with you and John Michael by Zoom, and you crushed it. You took direction well, and the thing I love about it, especially, is certain people come in with a very certain way they prepare the material, but where you want is somebody that's going to kind of inhabit the role. And so I'll throw notes at them, and sometimes I'll even, and this is tricks of the trade, but sometimes I'll even throw out a note that's not a good note. Yeah. And I'll just try something and be like, what would it feel like if you did this? And sometimes actors will shut down on that, but then other actors will try really hard to understand the note and be like, I'll try it. and you, with every note, you brought something really interesting with flavors. And I was like, oh, this kid's really good. And so then I was like, I think this is our guy. So that was the process. For you, when did you hear that you got the role? And that was a pretty cool day.
first, I have two stories to say about that call.
Cool.
So I vividly remember, at the time, literally an hour before I was hopping on Zoom with you guys.
Yeah.
I'd been for probably 3 months. I'd been trying to grow a mustache. Really hard, really hard. And I remember my sister does makeup, and I was like, Allison, I have to look 14, and I do not want to shave my mustache.
Oh my gosh.
I have a photo of me, and she did a pretty good job, but it looked like I had the longest upper lip.
That's so funny.
It's like, okay, I have to choose between I can only imagine two in the mustache.
That is
Somebody
awesome.
hand me the shaver.
That's awesome.
That was one, and then two is after the call. And it's a little bit more fun. But after the call, I remember hopping off, and I was like, I'm so happy, even if I never see this project again. Like I felt like I was in the moment. I was working, and you guys were so giving with all the things, all the notes. And afterwards, John Michael Finley texted me, and he said to me, he was like, "Thank you so much. You were really great. I don't know, I don't have a hand in the process, but I'm excited I got to meet you and work with you." And that text really meant so much to me.
That's amazing.
I feel like as actors, you don't see the, sure, you get kudos, but it's not the kudos that you need. And what John did in that moment was really open my eyes and be like, okay,
that's cool.
I'm ready to work.
That's cool.
Anyways.
I love that. And then you find out you got the role.
I did, yes. And I was actually in school trying to grow another mustache. And there's photos of me with my team, and I'm like, oof, yeah, okay. But I was at school. I remember coming down from what class was I in? Humanities. Loved my teacher, hated my class. And I was like, my mom called me, hey, can you come down to the cafeteria? Because my mom was the PTA president. I say that she was more popular at my school than I was.
Yeah.
And I remember being like, sweet, yeah, sure. Sorry, Mr. Devine, I got to go. And I went down, and my whole team at the time was down there, and it was a great moment. It was really great. It was also near it might have been near my 18th birthday.
So you got it all
and
at once.
So I got a birthday card, and I was like, oh, how sweet of you. And I was like, oh, this is not only a birthday card. This is I booked it card. I did it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's cool. Yeah, it was pretty sweet. And then the other gift that happened for us is, it's so we were up against a really intense timeline, and so Sam Millard has such a cool, iconic voice. It's very distinct, very artisty, and I just was like, I had heard you could sing, but I was like, you know what? It's more important that he just looks authentic, and that he can, play guitar, and it's not going to match Sam's vocals, and so we had kind of moved on where we were just going to have you lip sync Sam's vocals, but John Michael Finley again comes to see one of your plays, and he hears you sing in the play, and then he texts us. He's like, I'm not telling you how to do your job, but this kid's got the goods. You got to listen to him sing, and that's when we decided to pull you into the studio. And you did all your own singing in the film, and you absolutely matched. It was amazing. You just brought your own flavor to it. But
I was so sick when we recorded those songs.
Were you?
I was like, hey guys, it's so good to meet you. Dude. And I listened back to them, and I was like, wait, I pulled it off.
They hold up.
They really
hold
did.
up. Your It As Well moment's amazing. So that was such a cool moment that I didn't see coming. So it was pretty sweet. When we got into doing the film, what were the moments that we created in the film? Was there one or two moments that stood out to you that were like, on the day, there was something about it that was really special to you, or really stood out, or moments that were validating to you in kind of your craft?
The first day was pretty huge.
Right.
I mean, that was the first day I met everyone, the whole band.
Yeah.
I met Milo. Actually, let's go back. The first day that I really felt like, man, I'm doing it. Like, I'm here. This is what I need to be doing, was my screen test day.
Oh yeah.
And I remember walking in, And that was the first day that I met Milo. I'm pretty sure John was there too, but I remember meeting Milo very specifically and him just like looking me dead in my eyes and being like, "Hey man, I'm excited to work with you."
Wow.
And that was a moment where I was like, "Okay, I can do this. I can do this." And that day I literally just stood on a black background and turned a couple angles. But that was the first moment. And then the first day of true filming, that was kind of a continuation of that. What else? T-Pack.
Yeah, that was cool.
T-Pack was probably, I mean, obviously Red Rocks is
right.
You can't even talk about that. That's on its own other level.
Yeah.
But T-Pack was really cool again with Milo. And I really feel like for me, while I was being Sam, I was able to really be amazed at how he was pouring his heart and soul into this and the music and doing all that. But as Sammy, I was able to look at it and be like, every single time he's finding something new, every single time he's able to connect with someone else who's sitting in the first 3 rows and able to like pull and it's going with where he is in his life right now.
Yep.
And I was like, this is so beautiful. I can't, I was dumbfounded. That was probably the most pivotal moment on set.
That's
where
cool.
I was like, I was not only saying to myself, I can do this. I was also being like, I got a lot to do. I got a lot of work to do, and I'm going to do it.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
You brought your A game and you held your own so well. I was so proud of you. The moments that stood out for me was, I think it was probably your second day of filming when we filmed on top of the bus. Oh. And it was so cold. It was so cold.
I had hand warmers taped to every
all over
part
your
of my body.
It was so cold. And I was so worried that we weren't going to get it. Because I had in my head that it needed to be a lot bigger and more emotional and that type of thing. And had I gotten what I thought that we needed in that moment, it would have been sappy and it would have been over earnest and it would have been not believable. But you and Finley fought through the cold, and the cold, I think, brought this kind of subdued quality to the scene. Mm-hmm. And it was exactly what it needed to be. And it's one of my favorite scenes in the movie. It's just so good. And that was one I was really proud of you with, because that was not easy to do. Like 3 a.m. on top of a bus under a freeway.
There's like a light up there that we're supposed to be like, oh my God.
20 degrees. It was so bad. That was an amazing moment. And then, like you said, Red Rocks, because we only had 3 hours on stage to film with 8,500 people. And we had, so we were filming with 6 cameras. We only had the luxury of getting one setup, one take per setup. Mm-hmm. And so we would do a take and then everybody reposition. It was just like, we had one shot at everything. Yeah. And so going into that day and 8,500 people watching it and all that type of thing, I was like, I give us a 15% chance of this day working. I was like, this could be a disaster. And we just threw you guys out on stage and you ran with it and you just, in the moment. And that footage is sick. And I was just so proud of how everybody performed that day. So it was an amazing, iconic day that I loved it. And I think the thing with the story that I think really the heart of the story is, I can only imagine the first one and this one, it's a father-son story. So the first one is Bart towards his dad. This one's Bart towards his son. Mm-hmm. But there is definitely that same kind of tension and dynamic, that fatherhood story. Why is that an important story for you to tell? And what do you hope the audience kind of takes out of Sam's journey?
I mean, I feel like we all kind of have that moment in our lives where like we're looking up to our dad, or we're trying to be at the level that our dad wants us to be, and we miss it. Yeah. There's moments in my life where I feel like I've missed it. And at the same time, I have a very loving relationship with my dad and all that things, but there's still those moments.
It's complicated sometimes.
Yeah, 110%. I can wake up every morning and call you and say, hey, how's your day? I love you. but then still feel like maybe I'm not doing enough to make you proud of me.
Right.
And those lines and how they blur a lot of the time.
Right.
So I feel like this story, especially, not even talking about the whole type 1 diabetes, just the father-son at its core, is just a story that everyone needs to hear and know that they're not alone.
That's
because
awesome.
it can drag you down. And I feel like this story, like a lot of other people's will and are, they come out very strong and they're resilient in the end. I think that's pivotal.
I love it. So with for you, like you're at the beginning of this fledgling career, it's the first one. You just finished the first one. Like, what's your dreams and ambitions and goals of where you want to go with this career? Like, and you're multi-talented because you're working on your own music now too, right?
Yep.
So you and actually Sam Millard helped you do your first EP, right?
Yeah. Once we finished filming, I went back to Nashville for a week, just a week, and I recorded with him and his guitar player Ross for a couple of days here and in there. And I mean, the songs are kind of all a collection of what I've been writing over the past year,
right?
And it's kind of a lot of the things that I want to put out.
Sure.
So it's very all over the place. I have like 2 country songs, a indie beach song, and then an indie rock song. It's so fun.
I love it.
And that's exactly why I put it out. But we sat down the first day, started a song, almost finished it, and then after that, every day, song done. And then the last day we came back, finished the first track, and we were like, wow. Sam said to me he's never finished 5 songs in this short of a time.
That's amazing.
And I was like, it was meant to be.
That's cool.
It was absolutely meant to be. But as far as where I want to go, I mean, there's a lot of ways I want to go. And I'm kind of not broad, but in a sense, I like and I love a lot of things.
Yeah.
And I was actually I was struggling with the whole college thing, right? Like I literally finished filming, went back to high school, graduated, and I'm like, okay, before press starts, what am I going to do with my life?
Yeah, right.
And I was about to, I deferred my acceptance to Berklee College of Music in Boston, and I was like, okay. And I said to myself, I'm probably going to defer for the rest of my life.
Wow.
And because there's a confidence that I feel, this might be weird for me to say, but there's a confidence that I feel like I have, and maybe it's manifestation, and maybe it's just knowing that I believe that I'm on the right path, and whatever's gonna come in, and if something needs to get me on a different path, it's gonna come.
Right.
But I believe that I was made to do this, and so I'm gonna get my hands dirty, and I'm gonna dig, and it's gonna be hard, and it's gonna suck sometimes. But at the same time, if it's what I love, then does it really suck? Yeah,
I'm proud of you for that. Well, and I think that's when you become an actor. It's like, I did a movie called Woodlawn, and I told the star that Caleb Castile was a kid that I grew up with, and amazing kid, really talented, but played the football player Tony Nathan in that movie. And when he got done with it, because the way he got cast was really, it should have never happened. It just happened a certain way. Mm-hmm. And because one of our stars had visa issues and couldn't get over from London, and we had to cast Caleb like 3 days before we started filming. And he killed it. He did a great job. And so with Caleb, I called him, and I was always calling him little bro, and he calls me big bro. And I called him, I was like, listen, little bro, I said, I just want you to know he's moving out to LA. I was like, this is where you're going to grind it out, because it may not come as easy as this first one, but this is where you fight and you pay your dues and you work hard. And in that period of time, that is where you're going to get the muscle of getting out of the cocoon to where you can fly. And I said, this is where you become an actor. And he's like, yeah, I got it. I'll be fine. And then he went out and he struggled, and about, a few months into it, he's like, this is hard. And then all of a sudden he booked this big role in a CBS series that he became, and he instantly changed his life overnight. And he called me crying. He's like, it happened. He's like, I'm flying. Yeah. And so, I think I'm excited to see as you pay your dues, because I think that that talent is really, really prevalent with you. And I think when your moments and your note that you gave to me on the last day of filming, you said that you owe me 2 more films to be in. So
I thought it was 5.
I will catch that in at some point.
I thought it was 5.
Hey, remember.
But I'm always happy.
Oh, it's 5? Okay, I'll take 5.
Oh, whoa.
Okay.
We need to get some writing down, all right?
It was legally binding, no. But we're big fans, and I love where you're going. And I think that you've got the right attitude, the right heart, the right family to make that sustainable. And so I think there's big things in the near future. And I'm only halfway joking when you continue to break out. We're like, hey, let's double down here. Last thing we do on this podcast every time is I always like to know everybody's 5 favorite films. Now you've already said Real Steel, and I don't know if that holds up on the list.
Oh yeah, that's on it.
Okay, so it's on the list.
Oh,
the People's Choice.
Man.
So the other 4.
Okay. Let's see, what did I watch? I watched something recently that was like, it was very good. Anyways, let's see. Prisoners.
Prisoners is great.
Prisoners is a phenomenal
Jake
movie.
Gyllenhaal in that is like captivating.
Jake Gyllenhaal and Hugh Jackman.
Yeah,
there you go.
It's great. I see Hugh Jackman's the theme kind of emerging here.
The next one's Greatest Showman. No, I'm kidding.
Yeah.
Great soundtrack though.
Yeah.
But let's see.
3 more.
Memento's a very
Memento's trippy.
Very trippy.
Yeah, Christopher Nolan at his
and that was one of his like first real ones that
it was like
really
indie.
put him on.
That's great.
And it holds up very
well.
Oh,
he does. I heard a rumor that he wants to redo it too.
Ooh.
I've heard a rumor.
Can he wait? I would love to do that.
Oh, there you
I would love
You might want to get on the phone with Christopher Nolan.
Man, there's a couple films that I'm like, I know they're gonna make this, and they need to wait because I want to do it so bad.
Give you a few years, I'll be there. So 2 more.
You're gonna notice a very dark theme with all of these. But,
I started to get concerned.
There's 127 hours.
Yeah,
true story.
With James Franco.
Yes, and I know James Franco has his problems, but that film is so.
He's brilliant in it.
Yeah, I mean, it's literally just him.
Yeah.
For like.
Yeah, Danny Boyle is fascinating. Danny Boyle influences my editing more than any other director because he does those stream of conscious kind of cuts.
Yeah.
So the way that he does flashbacks, that's how I've always. I love how he does it.
I'm gonna have to watch Imagine 1, 2, and then watch all his movies again.
Yeah. So like how he did it in Slumdog Millionaire, I do it in like a lot of his different films. Like it's great.
Okay. Now I got homework now. One more.
Yeah.
You know, have you seen the movie Surf's Up?
You're serious? Surf's Up, the cartoon? Surf's
Up is a brilliant movie. It adds elements of
awesome.
Documentary with penguins that surf.
Yeah, it's actually, was it Shia LaBeouf plays the penguin?
He does.
So good.
And it's so random. He's like, hey, I'm Cody.
Who's playing? Is it Jeff Bridges that plays the older penguin? Who is it?
Oh, is it?
Because it's kind of like Jeff Bridges playing the dude playing the penguin. Like the dude from Big Lebowski.
Yeah, what is it? It's Big Z. It's Big Z.
Big Z. Okay.
Oh my God, you're so right.
It's so good. It's awesome. I love it. I will accept that.
Right? I had to lighten it up.
Yeah, keep it. You're still good. It's good. It's good. Well, dude, big fans at Kingdom. I love what we created together. I think it's special.
Me too.
Can't wait for audiences to see it, and can't wait to get to those other 5 films we got to do together.
Oh, done. Send me the scripts. I'm ready.
All right, for Sammy. Appreciate you, buddy.
Yeah, duh. Appreciate you, man.
So that's our show. I want to thank my guest, Sammy Dell. And the thing I love about Sammy's story is working with emerging talent. There's just something amazing when they come into it with all of the excitement and the ambition for what the industry has to offer. And I think that's what we all got in the game. You know, you forget that after you've, been through enough of the hardships of this job. Sometimes you look back and you forget those early beginnings and just the first love of telling a story. But there's something so pure and so unaffected when you find the right talent that obviously has a bright future in front of them, that comes in with the enthusiasm to engage with a new role. And Sammy has that. There's just this optimism that I wish you could bottle up and kind of sell on the shelf, and I would buy cases of it. But I just think for a lot of you guys that are listening to the show, that you might just be starting out on your journey. Be encouraged. There is an adventure in front of you. There's so many stories to tell. And yes, there's gonna be hardships, there's gonna be obstacles you face, and every bit of that is gonna be what makes you a great storyteller. But those beginnings, that purity, don't forget just the joy of doing your first movies. Don't ever lose sight of that. And whether this is your first film that you've ever done or your 100th, like just fall in love with that idea of what it's like to step onto a movie set. And I remember working with legendary John Voight on Woodlawn, who had won an Oscar before I was born, and I'm here directing him on that movie. I remember he would just elbow me on the way out, and he'd say, "Hey kid, look what we get to go do. We get to go play pretend for a couple hours." And that is the spirit. And you can have that at the beginning of your career or at the end, but don't lose that optimism. And that's my encouragement. I think Sammy's story speaks to that. So thank you for joining me on the show. We got an exciting season ahead of us. We continue to explore things on I Can Only Imagine 2 and with the cast and creators of it. A lot of stories to tell and stories beyond that on things to come with Kingdom. So stay tuned, and we'll see you on the next episode of The Storytellers.
The Storytellers is a Kingdom Story Company production. It is produced by Nick Carey and Beecher Proch with production assistance from Ben and Justin Bailey. Our executive producers are Brandon Gregory and Joshua Walsh. Social media for the show is run by the Troops and Allies team. Our music is Twisted Rooster by Tommy Prophet. Special thanks to our entire team at Kingdom Story Company. To make sure you never miss out on any of our exciting guests, subscribe to The Storytellers on YouTube at Kingdom Story Company or wherever you listen to podcasts. For exclusive first looks at our upcoming films, behind-the-scenes content, and invitations to advanced screenings, join the conversation as a Kingdom Insider at kingdomstorycompany.com. As always, thanks for joining Andrew Erwin and his friends on The Storytellers.